Hi, this is Pastor Jay, and this is Covenant Light and Shadow. And if you like, if this resonates with you, if this video resonates with you, um, or if you just find it interesting, just hit that like, share, subscribe. Um, for today's topic, talking about um, what this organization is really about and what what I believe to be the truth. People's truths are different. My truth happens to be I wasn't converted into this truth. Um, this truth, um, this truth was brought on by trials. I started out recruited in a faith, and then just try to see what if that was truth to me. The only truth that seems real to me is the one that I came across with research. The only truth that I know is the truth that I'm I'm showing to the general public, because basically they're all truths. This just happens to be my truth. There is no right or wrong. There's only your truth, your reality, what you hold to be true. I'm not trying to say that mine is better than another person's. I'm not trying to say mine's the way. It's just my way, and this is how I do it, and this is how, if it worked for me, I want to share that experience with other people because it might work for them. This organization is not Christian. It's not Muslim. It's not Islam. It's not Buddhist. It's not Hindu. It's based off of more ancient. Um, Hindu is pretty ancient. Buddhism is pretty ancient. Um, Catholicism is not ancient to me. Um, it's too recent for me. It's not ancient enough. Sorry. I have to go beyond the newer ones, beyond the newer faiths, and that's where I came across when I was doing my research in my life. The one that seems to be true to me, which is Zoroastrian. Zoroastrian is ancient. Some readings say it's Persian. It's a Persian belief. I Zoroastrian to me is just its own faith brought on by an enlightened people in a region. That's all it is to me. Some people might say, like, Lumeria, or some places better. Uh, it all comes down to what's better for you. This is what works for me, and this is what can work for other people. Some people like the really strict dogma and religion. I'm not that type of person. I'm actually the opposite of strict. Um, for me, mistakes are just part of living. If you feel like you made a mistake and it caused you discomfort, then you learn from that mistake and you do something different. Just like life. You put your hand on the stove and it burns you. What do? You don't put your hand on the stove unless you're delusional and you don't know any better or whatever. If you don't know any better and keep on, ow, 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 over and over again. And then you're like, this isn't working. But my dad and mom was brought up this way. My grandparents were brought up this way. My great grandparents were brought up this way. It must work for me because I was brought up to believe this works. Not every faith or style works for everybody. We're not all cookie cutters. You can't just like freaking go, oh yeah, this one thing is good for everybody on the planet. It's not like that. And you're a fool to believe that it is. because life is about change, progress, um, making things better, change, cycles, positive, negative, good and evil. It's all the interchange, the push and pull of the universe. Um, and if you don't know what push and pull of the universe is, and if you need to study up on it, I would highly recommend that. If you don't know what that is, yeah, I'm not here to hold someone's hand in their beliefs. Your belief is your belief. Um, I'm just here to hold your hand and help you through it. Or you can actually, in the future, join my group. It's not set yet, but in the future, I'd like to have a group and, people all different backgrounds, whether they were Hindu, Buddhist, whatever, whatever backgrounds that they. This is a faith that you go beyond being told what to do and going beyond saying things are sin. This is like something that is different. It's when I let go of the concept of sin that where I elevated and progressed and made my life better. So I'm just, it doesn't mean that you can go out and just, because there's cause and effect, you can't just, what you send out in the universe is what you get in return. So if you're, if you put out, negativity or evil into the universe, what are you going to get back in the future? You're going to get evil and positivity. Or if you're a negative person and the only thing you can do is take from positive people, positive loving people, because you don't have it. You can't produce that yourself because you don't have the imagination, you don't have the heart, you don't have whatever. So what negative people will like to do is just take from other people because they can't produce it themselves. So, they'll take their ideas, they'll just take. Yeah, so, um, yeah, we don't support negativity. We don't support trolling or bashing or, even though I don't agree with Christianity, I still honor the deities and I still honor Jesus for his sacrifice and what he did for the world. And he was an amazing person, soul, spirit, deity, whatever you want to call him. He was an amazing deity, amazing person, amazing everything. He, in the story itself, he he surrendered his own life to help others. That's awesome. You can't deny that. When you do something for another person, self-sacrifice, and it helps that individual at the cost of yourself, how can you not complain against that? Or how can you go against that? That's like the most amazing thing ever, So to have someone do that for another person is freaking amazing. So, even though I don't have the concept of sin, there is the cause and effect. What you put out in the universe is what you get back. So even though a negative person does negativity to receive a positive, that way stealing it, it's fleeting. What they get, it falls through their fingers. It's like sand going through your fingers. It just goes away, and then they go for another victim, or because they're predators. So, anyways, I'm kind of rambling on. Jeez. Okay, so I just needed to get that out there because there's a lot of trolls out there, and they'll want to bash me or do something, and I don't participate in negativity from other people. Like if they troll and say I'm evil, if they troll and say I'm not loving, if I'm trolling and saying I'm misleading people, things like that. I don't condone any of that. I won't even respond. I won't even respond. I won't even do anything because I don't. engage in negativity anymore. So even if you like troll the site and you're like, boo, 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 you suck, boo, it's not gonna affect me. I don't care. And if other people believe what the negative person is saying, I don't really care because that means that you're not on board with what I have to say. So, all in all, I really don't care because I'm just sharing my truth. And if it helps someone out, then it helps someone out. And that's good for me. It's good for you. I'm contributing. I'm doing what I feel is right, you know? And that's all you can do. Do what you feel is right. But that doesn't mean you can just go out and troll people and attack and spread negativity and hate and whatever. Because this organization does not respond to that kind of thing. Like, it just doesn't do it. So anyways, so I'm gonna move on, and so this is Covenant Light and Shadow. This is an organization that is for it's kind of a faith, but it's more the faith in the universe. You believe that there's a higher power, but you believe more in the cause and effect, and you following the cause and effect will make the universe happy because the universe makes your reality. So if you treat the reality good, then that reality will treat you good. If you treat the reality good, because the universe gives you everything that you need and want. So if you treat the universe bad, what was the universe going to do? Give you bad, give you negative, give you lack, loss. The universe isn't going to give you abundance if all you do is hurt the earth and hurt the environment and hurt everything about it. Eventually, you got to pay the price. Eventually, it's gonna catch up to you. So, anyways, this is Covenant Light and Shadow. So let's get started. So Covenant Light and Shadow is about the first row, about embracing the positive and negative. What I found is that when I let go of the fear of the dark side, the negative side, and realize that it's all part of the same system. And so, like, I dived into the harshness of the negative side, and then the trials and lessons that I had from the negative side gave me understanding. So if I had been scared the whole time and not kind of like waded in the waters of negativity, I would have never known how that side operates, how it affects me, how like what I need to do to not repeat anything in the future, what I need to do to, like it gave me everything I needed to understand the negative and dark side, to understand how it works, to understand how I can help people when they're attacked by negativity all the time, and the process of how to get out of it. Because if you don't know what you're doing, and you deal with negative entities, you could curse yourself. You could make yourself like in bondage for multiple lifetimes. You can, or if you don't believe in reincarnation, they can make your existing life like to lose everything, where you're reaching up to the sky and like, why? They can really mess you up, man, if you're not careful. So if you deal with a Ouija board, you deal with negative beings, even though they promise like all this stuff, you gotta watch out. And even when you're around negative people, you gotta watch out, because I was hanging around negative people, and then all of a sudden I started having this bad luck everywhere and attachments and like freaking, I was weighed down by all these problems, and so, and as soon as I got those people out of my life, everything got better. so people can bring in negativity into your life, and so you have to watch out. You gotta live. If you're a positive, loving person, you gotta try to protect yourself. Like, because sometimes you get into these unknowing situations where you're like, oh my gosh, how do I get out of it? How do I get out of this? And how do I get into this? And you start to like analyze and go, wow, what happened? And so, And also, this is just coming from the heart. But to tell you the truth, when I figured out how it all works, basically what I wanted to do was just go to the ocean, kick back with a margarita, and just live my life of how I know it and what I know to be true, and I'm good. Like, I'm not worried about the afterlife. You know, I'm totally fine, and you can see it in my eyes. I'm totally fine. So, and I would like you to be totally fine, just like me. Wouldn't you love to be totally fine? Be like, I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. You know, I know what I'm working on. I know what has to be done. And having the bravery to go through it, and then the knowledge of getting through it all. Um, a lot of people don't lack the knowledge of getting through it all of it, or they get confronted with some negativity that's persisting, and they're like, oh my gosh, what's happening to my life? Not knowing that it's either the person that they met, or it's a lesson, because the universe does give you lessons. So it could be a lesson, it could be anything, because this reality is our playground, our classroom. It's our everything. I mean, you have to think eternity. Eternity is a long time. If you believe in eternity, it's a long time. This is just one little tiny moment in your eternity. So accept what's happening in your life, accept the things that you can't control, and you just try to make things better, and you do the right thing. And as long as you try to do what's right in your heart, you got nothing to worry about. If you're not causing pain to someone else and discomfort and trying to get something for nothing from someone, as long as you're not doing that, then you got nothing to worry about. You know. So, anyways, going back to the topic, man. Okay, so, Pastor Jason, get on track. Like Airplane the movie. Get a hold of yourself. Get a hold of yourself. I love that movie, by the way. Anyway, um, so on the second part of the first part of this first thing I was talking about, it says life is about struggle and sacrifice. That's to learn a lesson. Um, um, because when you're in spirit form, you have access to all the knowledge, but knowledge without practice, or knowledge without the real, the hands-on stuff. Like when you're in spirit, you have all this knowledge, but you don't have the what does it feel like. Well, this place gives you that. What does that feel like? So you come here, and you're like, you wanted to feel what it is to be whatever. I don't know. One example I like to give, because it's something that people don't like to think about, is it could be your purpose, that you're the homeless person on the city corner who is a reminder for the business guy that walks by him every day to be grateful for, to have the rich man be grateful for what he has. Sometimes people's not everyone's purpose is to be a king. Not everyone's purpose is to be an emperor. Sometimes those purposes are, you got to be the lowest of the low. And that also will test your endurance. That will also test to see how real you are, whether you're really a loving person, or you're faking being a loving person. You're not really a loving person. You're actually an evil person. So sometimes you get into these situations where you're tested to see who you really are. You know, deities, spirits, divine beings. They want to know the real you. They want to see the real you in life. What do you stand for? What do you gravitate towards? What are you struggling? And so you come here, come here to learn all that. So on the next thing is, so because of that, you're like, well, why do good things, or why do bad things happen to good people? Well, that's one of the reasons. One of the you have negative things happen to loving, positive people, people that should be living in abundance, should not be living in, fear, should not be living in anxiety, because anxiety is negativity, depression is is a negative, it's a negative feeling. Anything that goes ooh, that's a negative feeling. Pain on your shoulder is a negative feeling. That is what allows you to know that there's something wrong with your body to fix it. So what I'd like to use a demonstration of this Japanese blade. Now, what makes the Japanese blades so good? I mean, the best of the best. It's the amount of attention and amount of negative forces placed, like when you hit the blade with the hammer, you're hitting it, pow! All that force is being jammed in, all the molecules are being jammed in to a tighter space, and then the metal gets flipped or turned, and then the next step is another pound, bam, a negative force, and it's pushing all those molecules in to make it to become a better blade. The best samurai swords in the world are ones that have been pounded on the most, beaten down the most, and they're the sharpest, the strongest, most deadliest blades in the world. And that's because they can spend up to 7 years making one blade. In the old days, they would do 7 years to make one blade, constantly pounding in molecules, pounding over and over until you get the perfect blade. And your soul is the same way. You're trying to become the perfect blade. So I just wanted to put that out there, that it sucks. When the mugger mugs you and then you gotta file a police report, or when your dad or your mom is telling you how much of a loser you are, and all that kind of stuff, and it's negative. It's a negative thing, but you can also you could use it as fuel to make yourself better. Pastor Jay had a horrible past. My life has been absolutely horrible. A horror movie could say what my life has been. And I used to do the same thing. Why me? Why God? Why? Now I know, after all these years, I'm not going to share everything with my fans. This is a YouTube channel. So, what I can say is that I will do my best to help you find your way, whatever that might be, or that may be. So, all right, moving on. Acknowledge the potential of good and evil within all of us. What I like to say about that is, when you're born, you are born with a clean slate. And then the society, media, parents, peers, they all start programming you. And then within that programming, within the program, you can either, it's like the programming can, even though you're 11 being, that programming could make you want to go on the side of negativity and evil, so that you like what's negative, you like but there is a time where you might think that is your real, that's your real self, and that might not be the case. You could be raised negative and be a loving person, but then your heart is blocked because you've been battered your whole life, and so you're more stern, more strict, more you don't want to open yourself up to anybody, and then you have a negative brain, so you start attracting negative people, negative things, negative lifestyles, and all that, because the mind also tells you who you're going to meet, what you're going to do, and how your life's going to turn out. Your mind is a very powerful thing. What your mind thinks happens. So what you dwell on. If your mind is always negative, you're going to draw negativity to you because you're sending out negative thoughts, and the universe attracts what you think. So if you're always thinking negative, then you're going to be attracting negative people. They're going to attract narcissists to you. All this stuff. But they're all lessons. Even if you do attract them, it's all lessons. You just kick them out of your life, all the karmics and the narcissists and all the moochers, and you just kick them out. And then when you kick them out, they're like, no, don't kick me out. Or they attack you like, you suck. You said you were going to do this.